What is up, ladies and jelly spoons? This is AbsolutPrimeMtG here to bring you my terms and conditions video to the very basics. Standard is a constructed deck format that only allows cards that have been printed during the previous expansion block cycle. In this case, we have Return to Ravnica, Gatecrash, and Dragon's Maze, usually referred to as the Return to Ravnica block. Standard also allows for the most recent core set that has been released between the two blocks. In this case, it was the 2014 core set, usually referred to as M14. But seriously though, screw slivers. Currently, Theros is the only released expansion of the Theros block. These 5 expansions constitute what is currently considered standard. Let's start with the terms that players will run into no matter the set. Defender. A creature with Defender is unable to attack during the combat phase, but is able to defend. Vigilance. A creature with Vigilance does not need to tap in order to attack. First Strike. During the damage dealing phase, a creature with First Strike will deal its damage first, before all other damage not done in response. Double Strike means a creature will deal both First Strike damage and normal combat damage, effectively hitting twice. Any permanent that is indestructible cannot be destroyed by damage or any other effect. Death Touch is whenever a creature deals damage of any kind to any other creature, that creature, unless it is indestructible, will be destroyed. When a creature has Trample, it is a combat effect. The difference between the attacking creature's power and the defending creature's toughness will trample over the smaller creature and deal that difference as damage to the defending player. Flying is an ability that means during combat it cannot be blocked except by other creatures with flying or with reach. Reach means that it is a creature without flying that can block creatures with flying. When a creature has hexproof, it means that it cannot be targeted by spells and abilities your opponents control. If a creature with lifelink deals damage of any kind, you gain life equal to the amount of damage dealt by that creature. While permanents can normally only be cast during your main phase, if it has the ability Flash, then it can be cast any time that you could cast an instant. Now let's move on to the terms and conditions one might find from cards from the Return to Ravnica block. Detain, the blue-white Azorius ability. When a creature or permanent is detained, it becomes tapped, and does not untap during its controller's next untap step. It is also unable to activate any of its abilities. Cipher, the blue-black Dimir ability, is a mechanic of instants and sorceries. When the instant or sorcery with Cipher is successfully cast, it is then placed on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to an opponent, you may cast a copy of that spell for free. Unleash is the red-black Rakdos ability. When a creature with Unleash enters the battlefield, its controller may put an additional +1/+1 counter on it, making it stronger. However, it loses the ability to block. Blood Rush is the red-green Gruul ability. Creatures with Blood Rush have an alternative cost to cast. When a creature is cast for its Blood Rush, it is discarded like an instant or sorcery card, and its Blood Rush ability is placed on a creature. Populate, the green-white Selesnya ability. Whenever Populate is activated, you may choose a type of token you already control, and place an additional token of that type onto the battlefield. Extort, the white-black Orzhov ability. You may activate Extort for 1 black or white mana. Whenever you cast a spell, whether the spell resolves or not, if that ability is resolved, every opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. Scavenge is the black-green Golgari ability. Creatures with Scavenge have a Scavenge cost that can only be activated when they are in the graveyard. When you pay and activate a creature's Scavenge cost, you exile it from your graveyard and place a number of +1/+1 counters equal to its power onto target creature you control. Evolve is the blue-green Simic ability. Any creature that has the Evolve ability, that has a power or toughness less than the creature that just came in, you may put a +1/+1 counter on the creature with Evolve. Overload is the blue-red Izzet ability. Instants and sorceries with the Overload ability have an alternative cost. If you pay the Overload cost, you will change the text of the instant or sorcery from target creature you don't control to every creature you don't control. Battalion is the white-red Boros ability. Whenever 3 or more creatures you control attack, you may activate each Battalion ability for the attacking creatures. And now let's move on to Theros, which has 3 new abilities and one oldie but goodie. Scry is a returned ability from previous sets. The word scry is usually followed by a number. Whenever the spell or ability with scry resolves, you may look at that many number cards from the top of your library. You may then rearrange them and put as many on top or on the bottom of your library as you like. Heroic is a new ability for Theros. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature with Heroic you control, you then trigger and resolve whatever effect follows the Heroic keyword. Bestow is unique to the new enchantment creature types. If you cast a creature with Bestow for its Bestow cost, it is an enchantment aura instead of a creature, and you enchant target creature. If the creature that is bestowed by this new enchant creature becomes destroyed or leaves the battlefield for any reason, the bestowed aura simply becomes a creature again. Devotion is also a new keyword for Theros. Your devotion to a color is the number of mana symbols of that color in the mana costs of any permanents that you may control. This is especially important when dealing with cards like Karametra's Acolyte, which will add mana equal to your devotion to green, or any of the 5 enchantment creature gods, which are not creatures as long as your devotion is less than 5. Monstrosity is the final new ability for Theros. Monstrosity is an activated ability, which means that you can activate it at any time. When the ability resolves, you must check if it is not already monstrous. If it is not, the ability puts a number of +1/+1 counters on that creature equal to its monstrosity count. Most creatures with monstrosity have a following triggered ability, so make sure you watch out for that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the very basic terms and conditions. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you enjoyed yourselves, please like, favorite, subscribe, and if you have any suggestions for future videos that you'd like to see, please leave your comments down below, and I'll try and get you guys what you want to see. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the flip-flop later.